Well, we are really excited to be with you today. We are going to target the right customer and increase your profits. This is the second part of our webinar, and today we're going to be refining your niche. I'm Tracy Brosman, and my co-founder, Gail Sophia Edgell, and I are so excited to be with you here today, aren't we, Gail?
Yes, we are.
So last week, we shared with you why we feel it's so important to find your ideal client by clearly identifying your niche. And we know from our own experiences how difficult running a business can be. And there are so many things that you need to be an expert in. And often you spend so much time working in your business that you have no time at all to work on your business. And we want to congratulate you today on taking the steps to work on your business. By clearly identifying your niche, you're going to be able to set yourself apart from everyone else in your industry. And this is just one of the areas that we help our clients with on a regular basis. However, it is the foundation of your success, because not niching down properly will cost you tons of money, time, and heartache. So today we're going to share with you the next step to identifying your niche and how I was able to become one of the best group fitness programs that I had, and then Gail was also able to have the largest personal training business in her county by focusing on high-risk populations. So we did that by defining niches. And we just want to go through last week's review. And a couple of things that I want to point out in today's webinar. When you're listening to it live, because we are recording it, you have the opportunity to type in your questions and also to raise your hand. Because in a few minutes, we're going to actually be going on the internet, and we're going to be showing you how to narrow your niche down a little bit more, and we're going to be taking volunteers. So something that I'd like to see is if you have narrowed your niche down, put that in our chat box, or you can put a question in. If you have a question, raise your hand, and we'll be trying to get to all of that as we go on in the next hour. So last week, what we did is we did steps 1 through 4. We talked about what are you passionate about. That is step 1. You have to enjoy working with this ideal client. Step number 2 is what type of clients keep coming to you over and over again. This shows something that you may be very, very good at and in helping these clients overcome their challenges. So you want to look at that, because that may be somewhere that you want to niche into. Step 3 would be looking at a personal experience. Maybe it's something that happened to you and that you're able to help somebody overcome that, or maybe you just had an experience and saw that there was a need to help others. And step 4 is a combination of all of these, likes that create your unique niche. And step 5, Gail's going to go into a little bit more detail.
Tracy, you might want to turn up your volume just a tad before we go any further. But step 5 is really, really important, because last week, remember, you were narrowing down your search as to what you wanted to search and what you wanted to niche. And this week, what we're going to be doing is going online and really looking at whether people are actually searching those key terms. So we're going to be looking at the keywords on the internet. We're also going to be looking as to whether it is a low-hanging fruit, because there are certain words. I can think of one, for example, personal trainer is a word millions and millions of people search, and it's high competition, and we're going to show that in just a second here. And what that means is that a lot of people are paying for the word personal trainer. So when you go into Google.com and you type in the word personal trainer, there's a lot of people that are going to be coming up at the very top of that list, at the very top and over to the right. So that just means that it's harder for you to really get on the front page of that market. And then, like Tracy said, we are going to be doing a ton of demonstrations today. One, I'm going to go through a couple things that I thought I'd show you as a demonstration, and then if anyone is typing in anything to Tracy, we can go through that. So these are things that you really, really want to write down if you don't have, if you don't want to review the PowerPoint, but you want to go to, actually it's it's reverse, Tracy, isn't it? It's adwords.google.com, or is, yeah, correct. It's AdWords, ADWORDS. .google.com. So that's the first place you want to go to. And then at the very top of it, you're going to be seeing a menu at the top. There's a bunch of tabs, and one says Tools. It says Tools and Analysis, and then you're going to scroll down to Keywords. So again, go to adwords.google.com. I will tell you that you need a Gmail account. So if you don't have a Gmail account, make up something. You don't have to use it ever again. Then go to the top, Tools and Analysis, and scroll down to Keyword Tool. So are we ready to look at some examples, Tracy?
We have our first example. We have somebody who is a registered dietitian, and she would like to target moms trying to lose weight.
Okay, so registered dietitian, and then moms losing weight. And since I have this pulled up, Tracy, I want to give this example first, and then we'll go on just because of timing. It takes a while to load these pages if they're not already loaded. But I do want to give you an example since all of you are wellness coaches. I went into the Tools and Analysis tab. If you click here, I don't want to do it just because it takes a while to load. You want to go to Keyword Tool, and then make sure down here at the bottom it says Keyword Ideas. It automatically comes up on this Add Group Ideas Beta. Just click over to the other one. So if you type in the word Wellness Coach, you can see down here Wellness Coach is high competition. So in other words, a lot of people are paying for the word Wellness Coach. So there's a lot of competition. However, there's only 18,100 people searching it per month. And Tracy and I like to tell people, depending on the market, this is all very market dependable, probably about 20 to 50,000, 25 to 50,000 searches is where you're looking for in the local searches. However, you want to aim for something that is low competition and not high competition. So if you see here, if you go down, you can see the other words that are actually there. A life coach, a wellness plan, ACSM wellness coach, ADHD coach, and you can see the competitions. You can actually click on here. I'm not going to do it. Like I said, it'll take a while to load, but you can search the competitions low to high, high to low. You can also do that with your monthly searches. So just be aware that you can search this all different ways. So the neatest thing is you touch this down arrow right here, you will see Google searches. As we go there, this is what comes up. And the thing is, Tracy, can you still hear me? Tracy?
Hi, you kind of got a little fuzzy there for a second. Can you hear me? Gail?
I was going to say, can you still hear me? Because it's, yep.
Yeah, I can hear you. You got a little blurry there for a second. Okay. And when you go on to your next example, Linda is the one who is a registered dietitian. So if we get that opportunity, we may unmute her so that she can ask more. Okay. I just wanted to follow up with this example. My computer doesn't like all of these windows open, so I'm going to start to close some of them here in a second. If you look at the searches, there's 35 million results. So someone types in the word wellness coach, 35 million websites come up. And then here's all your competition. So when you're looking for a niche, you want to be able to look at what words are actually coming, what websites are actually coming up. If you're competing against WebMD and Mayo Clinic, these are two heavy hitter websites. So just look to see what is coming up on that first page for you.
EDU sites, here's a life.edu site. EDU and Gov sites are always going to rank higher than your website. So if they're all coming up on the first page and the heavy hitters like WebMD and Mayo Clinic, then you definitely probably want to refine that search a little bit more. So I'm going to close out that window. And here's another example before we move on to Linda's. Here's Weight Loss Coach. It's still medium competition, but there's only 3,600 searches per month, so it's quite low in searches, and then also the competition is medium. Again, you want to be looking for low competition, and monthly searches about 25 to 50,000. So if we look at Linda's, I'm trying to close down some of these windows, so there we go. So Linda, if you want to unmute Linda, you can. I'm going to put in registered dietitian just to see what happens here. And Tracy, are you there?
Yes, I'm going to unmute Linda here.
Okay.
Linda. Hi, this is Linda.
Hi,
hey, Linda. So if you look at the word registered dietitian, you can see, if you see the screen, it says medium competition, 33,100 searches. So you're in the range, but again, you have some medium competition. Mm-hmm. When you have a chance, Linda, you probably want to hit this down arrow where my little hand is, just to see what other Google searches are out there. When it comes up registered dietitian, I'm thinking it's going to come up with hospitals and things like that. And they're the things that you want to avoid. So registered dietitian, how can we refine your search? I know you said moms and losing weight. Have you thought any more about that?
No, not really. That's where I'm kind of starting. I was first of all just thinking about women, but I'm really, moms is about as narrow as I've gotten so far.
Okay, so if we say nutrition, how about losing weight?
Well, weight loss. Yeah, I mean weight loss for women, weight loss for moms.
Weight loss for moms. I'm making that up. It's going to take a little bit here to load. But you're just going to have to keep playing around. Oh, okay, so this is very interesting. Weight loss for moms, still medium competition, and there's only 1,600 searches a month. So this is what you're just going to have to keep playing with. Like, it could be, what was the other thing you said? Losing, let's go to women. So you said weight loss and women. Weight, I can't spell today. Weight loss and women, and see what comes up. And here, oh, this is a, wow, look at this.
Whoa.
So you got high competition, so everybody and their uncle's paying these AdWords, and you have 110,000 searches. So this is what you guys really, really want to focus in on. I can't stress enough that this is not a 5-minute project. And like I said, make sure you're going into that down arrow and then going on to Google searches and seeing what your exact competition is. Like I said, I don't want to do that because it'll slow up the computer for you guys, and I would like to go on to other examples. But again, just keep that in mind. Linda, you might want to say weight loss, women, let's see. How about weight loss after pregnancy? I'm making this up. You can just keep playing around, and you have to have, like we said, a passion for it. Don't put after pregnancy care,
And so that's searching for weight loss and after pregnancy. It's searching for those two phrases together.
Yes. That's exactly right. And then if you scroll down here, Linda, you'll see here are other words that people have used. Weight loss after pregnancy, 8,100. Here's 49,000. Oh, okay. See, they reworded it differently. Pregnancy, weight loss. That's actually really good. It's low competition, and can you see it on my screen?
Yep.
And 50,000 searches. Perfect. Great one. Because it's low competition, 50,000 searches. But it's just see how people word things. I will tell you, too, you will be surprised that people misspell things. So, for example, when I had my menopause site, they misspelled the word menopause, M-E-N-A-P-A-U-S-E. Thousands and thousands of people. Not that you should make that one of your main keywords, but it may be a keyword that you use like in a blog. Purposely misspell it.
Interesting.
Because so many people misspell words. So pay attention to that. So Linda, do you have anything else you want me to add to that?
No, that's helpful. I mean, that's a good start. Like you said, it just takes some time to keep searching.
Yeah, and Linda, as always, Tracy and I try to be a resource, and we gave, last week we gave, Tracy, can you help me with the girl's name that has the Fit Moms, Lean Moms website?
Yeah,
leanmoms.com.
Yeah, Lacey.
Lacey.
With leanmoms.com.
And she does really well, Linda. So what you can do is go to leanmoms.com and then right-click, and it'll say source code once you're on her website, and then you can see what keywords she's using.
Oh, okay.
Secret.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if there's someone that you feel like you're competing against, you can look at their right-click and do their source code and see what keywords they're using, their main keywords. And Tracy, you had something to add?
I was just going to say, Linda, if you don't have any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and mute you and then give Gail our next example.
Thank you.
Okay, I am ready for the challenge. Yes.
Okay, so this is a new one, and I'm going to give it to you. And then I'm going to mute myself so I can find Susan, and that way Susan be ready, and you'll be live with Gail. One of the things I just want to mention is when I do have you unmuted, try to be careful about anything that you're doing in the background, typing and stuff like that, because it does come up extra loud. So that's why I'm not going to search for Susan until I mute myself again. So Susan's niche is, or where she's looking at niching, is a caregiver for aging and disabled and professional care. So she wants to be a professional caregiver.
Okay. Okay, I will let you find her, and I'm going to put in the word caregiving and see what happens. So, wow. This is a major issue nowadays, isn't it? Look at this.
Susan, are you there? Or actually, it's Suzanne.
Suzanne. Hi, Suzanne.
I don't know if you can hear me because I'm on the computer. Can you hear me?
Yep. We can hear you.
So I actually want to coach caregivers. I don't want to be a caregiver myself.
Okay, so if we put caregiving coach and then hit search, nothing comes up. So this is interesting. Caregiver coach comes up with 170 searches. But again, what I just said to Linda, you might want to do, Suzanne, is go in here under Google searches, see what your competition is, pull up their website, and see what keywords they're using. So what other keywords have you thought about?
Just turn down your speakers just a little bit.
There are different populations of caregivers. So there's professional caregivers, there's aging caregivers, and there's caregivers for people that are disabled. So I thought I would play with those three populations because those narrow it down.
So there's aging coach, but how about aging caregiver? I mean, you can
the caregiver is somebody that cares for somebody that's aging.
So what would be a great keyword?
Getting a lot of feedback.
Caregivers of I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not thinking clearly either, Suzanne, as to what might be some good words to use. Like, so you want to coach caregivers.
That's right.
Okay.
And also do meditation and self-care for caregivers is what I am interested in helping with.
Okay, self-care for caregivers. Self-care, okay, so medium competition.
Suzanne, I
That's interesting. And local. She muted you, Suzanne, just because of the feedback, but it's medium competition, and the local monthly searches are $3.90. I always find this so interesting that people are paying for Google AdWords at medium competition, and there's only 390 people a month searching this word. So again, you want to look for something low competition. I have a feeling, Suzanne, for the field that you want to go into, that 25 to 50,000 searches may be a little high for you. And if we scroll down, something, you look at these things, you might say, wow, that really, self-care tips, caregivers, high competition is only 16 searches. Support, here's support for caregivers. Yeah, so you can keep going through caregiving, caring, and see if there's anything on this list that you're like, oh yeah, that helps me research more. And as I've said over and over again, it's not a 5-minute process, and some of your niches are going to be a little bit harder than others. Tracy, do we have other people?
Do, and
okay.
Can you hear me? We definitely do. Our next one is by Deb, and Deb is looking at exercising coaching for clients considering weight loss or bariatric surgery. So that's a good one.
Okay.
I'm going to mute myself, and I'm going to see if I can find Deb to unmute her.
Okay. Hey, Deb. I don't know if she's going to be unmuted, but if we just start with the basic search. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So what I did is, if you see on the screen, I just put exercise and weight loss just to see what happens. Medium competition, 110,000 searches a month. So if we might say exercise and bariatric surgery. Tell me, Deb, if I'm not spelling this right. Bariatric surgery. Is that correct? Did I spell that right? It's going to tell me. Yeah. See, I'm one of the people that spell it wrong. That's really funny. So exercise and bariatric surgery, your medium competition, 260 searches. So just keep playing around. This is a hot topic, Deb, just because look at all the highs and medium competitions. This is pretty interesting. Now here's something interesting, post-bariatric surgery diet. How about if we put post-bariatric surgery exercise? I don't know. So this is what you have to play with. So bariatric surgery exercise. I know my typing is probably really obnoxious. Okay, 140. So just like I said with Suzanne, that bariatric surgery, you're going to find something that really sticks out for you, and you're going to have to keep playing around with it. And once again, if you can't think of anything, you're just at a loss, go into some of the words that post-bariatric surgery diet. See, here's support groups. See what keywords they're using by doing the right click on their website once their website's up, and see the source code. If smart, they'll have all their keywords with all this high competition that's out there. So you really want to take time. I don't want to do it, but you can switch this around from low to high instead of this is just random right now, because it's looking at what we did, what our words were, and just sort of saying, okay, here's some comparisons for you. And the other thing is, with Deb and Suzanne, immediately I thought of something else for you. We're looking at, this is the internet piece and words that people are using on the internet. But as far as partnering, my goodness, both of you have large partnerships that you can do. As far as the bariatric surgery, you have all the, I think for the most part, our bariatric surgery clinics around here focus on the weight loss and the psychological piece, and they sort of, they sort of talk to them about exercise, but they don't really move it forward after they're all done. They sort of forget about them. And so you can do a lot of partnerships. And same way with Suzanne, I'm sure there's professional caregiving associations that you can be partnering with. Deb, do you have anything else that you'd like me to try to say?
I actually went ahead and muted her. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to unmute you really quick in case you have another question. Are you there, Deb?
No, but thank you. I'll take a look around. Yep.
Awesome.
Anything else before we move forward with our presentation, Tracy?
Well, yeah, we have a few more, and we have a little bit of extra time here, so let's go ahead and do a few more examples. Our next one is Wendy, and Wendy is a pediatrician. She's a health and wellness coach, and she's a mindful-based stress reduction teacher. And I'm going to unmute Wendy and have her give you a little bit more so that we can narrow down our keywords a little bit more.
Hey, Wendy.
Hi, this is Wendy.
How are you today?
Good. Thanks for doing this call. So I'm a pediatrician, and I've become really interested in how stress affects our health and well-being.
Okay.
And so I teach mindfulness-based stress reduction. That's one thing that I do. I've recently become really interested in sleep, so the medical, the science aspect of sleep, but also the behavioral aspects of sleep, particularly, folks that are struggling with insomnia.
Okay.
So I've been studying something called cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, and working with kids. I've done a lot of work with, helping families to get kids to sleep through the night. So I was thinking of really focusing on sleep coaching for individuals and families.
Okay. Very interesting. That's probably all of the United States, right?
That's right. But I didn't find a lot of sleep coaches out there.
So, stress, you might want to just, it says low competition. There's 170 local monthly searches. You can start to broaden that and say, Tracy, do you have any keywords that come up for you?
I was actually looking at all of these questions, so I have to plead a little bit of ignorance on that one. I'm so sorry.
So I'm not so much just interested in babies, but also adults. So like those sleep coach, low competition, and then below 1,900 searches.
Oh, okay. So you sleep. Sleep coach. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, all age groups, not just babies.
Here's sleep training. I don't know exactly what that is.
Yes, that would be similar. Yeah.
I don't want to click on it. Like I said, honey, it takes so long to load.
Right.
But sleep training, I would go into the Google searches, just click on this down arrow right here and see what sleep training is.
Right.
One time a couple weeks ago we did this, and it was about you got to watch words because it said sunspots. And so I looked at the word sunspots, and I'm like, wow, this is an interesting one for like anti-aging. And then when I got to the Google searches, the first page of it, half of it, actually most of it was for sunspots, like sunspots on the sun, and not sunspots on your face. So just be careful because you never know what sleep training means to other people, but that certainly is one. Infant sleeping, infant sleep. Oh, there's another one. That's medium competition, but 22,000. So there's some possibilities definitely here when just keep scrolling and something. Look at this. Babies and sleep. Oh, my God. Low competition, 110,000 searches, but low competition. You might want to just play around with those for a little bit, especially since you're a pediatrician.
Right.
And I'm wondering what's coming up with this. It might be the Mayo Clinic and, Institute for Health and all that kind of good stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Looks good. Looks promising.
Yes, it does. It definitely looks promising, and I think parents will do anything to get their babies to sleep. And sleeping for women, menopausal women, and sleep is a one too. But I think if you're a pediatrician, my thing is your credentials are the kids.
Right.
So how could you capitalize on that? Because you're going to stand out above everyone else as being the ultra expert.
Right.
Very good.
Okay.
That's a great one, Wendy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy. I'm going to go ahead and mute you. And we have a lot of other questions, but before we go on to our next question, Gail, can you just review the steps of how you're doing the keyword searches, how you got there? For a few people, I think they might have missed it. So you go into the adwords.google.com and then where you go to next.
Okay, so if you notice at the top of the screen, it's adwords.google.com, adwords.google.com. Remember, you have to have a Gmail account. So if you don't have one, take 5 minutes and set it up. Then you're going to go to Tools and Analysis, which is right here, and hit the down arrow. I'm going to try to hit it. Oh, it worked, okay. And then here, click on Keyword Tool. So again, adwords.google.com, Tools and Analysis, Keyword Tool. When you get to the keyword tool, this is what's coming up. The only thing is it's going to come up on this Add Group Ideas Beta tab. You want to just switch it over to Keyword Ideas, and then all you have to do is start typing. So hopefully that clears it up for some people. If you weren't here at the very beginning, we're looking for something that is low competition. And average local monthly search is 25 to 50,000, but like I had discussed with some of you, with like Suzanne's especially, and maybe even Deb's, especially Suzanne's, I think you may have to scale that down a little bit, just because of all the numbers that you're seeing.
Great, thank you, Gail.
Anything else, Tracy?
Yeah, we don't have to, we're not going to have time to go through everything, but I think we have time to go through a few more. So let's try metabolic syndrome, give you another good one to spell. And I'm going to unmute Tamara. So it's Metabollic, I believe.
Okay, so Tamara is her name?
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you, Tamara?
Good.
Okay, now as I'm making everyone deaf typing here, we'll see what this comes up. Metabolic syndrome is typically used. Okay, it's really not that bad, the word, and that's interesting to me. Here's metabolic syndrome, low competition, 60,500 searches. The thing I'm very curious about, Tamara, and have to think about this, is do people really know they have metabolic syndrome unless they're told by their physician that that's what it's called? Or do they just say, I have fat around the belly? Right?
Yeah. Well, I have a lot. I work in an on-site healthcare for an employer, and I get a lot of people that come to me saying, my doctor tells me I have metabolic syndrome. He said, lose 25 pounds and come see me in 6 months, and so what do I do?
Okay. Okay, and you can, I mean, definitely if you have people saying that, awesome. And then just keeping down here, and you know, here's another one you could sort of capitalize on, insulin resistance. It's a little higher, but, you know, they sort of go hand in hand, metabolic and insulin resistance.
Right.
And again, see what competition you're coming up against. I assume would be for your own private site or your corporate site?
For my site.
Okay. Yeah, so that's interesting. That's one, polycystic ovarian syndrome. That's a big one nowadays too. All women, they don't understand why they're getting and how can they fix it. And if you can find another one, polycystic ovarian syndrome, if you can fix that through diet and exercise, so many women would be gracious to have children. And right, you know, when they have PCOS, they're totally infertile. And I've seen it happen over and over again. We're just changing their diet and exercise routine, they're able to get pregnant. I think this is not a bad choice, Tamara, really. The resistance, what is metabolic syndrome? You will find, guys, that long tail keywords by just adding a few words. So here we're down to 60,000. We're at 60,500. I was going to say adding some more things like define metabolic syndrome, but adding a word in front or behind metabolic syndrome symptom. And just playing around with longer tail keywords, and see what comes up for you.
Okay.
Here's metabolic syndrome weight loss, 210. Oh, that's pretty low. Yeah. You have any other questions, Tamara?
How do you distinguish from a lot of the competition? I have looked into it, and stuff like WebMD and that sort of stuff comes up. Any suggestions how to differentiate ourselves from that or stand out when there's a lot of that?
I always go back to Tracy. I'm going to get you to mute her.
Okay.
Tamara, I always go back to my menopause website. So the word menopause, can only imagine, I think there were 4 million searches a month or something with the word menopause. And Mayo Clinic, hospitals all had, they actually all had the front pages. So what I did is I even took the lower hanging fruit. So I had menopause support, menopause relief, and they didn't go after those lower hanging fruit. And what I mean by that is things that were less than 25,000 they didn't bother with. And so I dominate the pages for all of those lower hanging fruit words, just for the fact that they were going for the heavy hitters. Of course, I use the word menopause once in a while, but I did not focus on that as one of my main keywords because I knew that I would never have a chance, because I've written 100 articles on the word menopause, Christiane Northrup and those kinds of things. So hopefully I answered your question.
And Gail, we're going to try a couple more. We have one for coaching for adrenal fatigue or exhaustion. That's Michelle. So I'm going to mute myself and find Michelle and unmute her. So coaching for adrenal fatigue or exhaustion.
Okay. Hi, Michelle. Hopefully she'll come on eventually as I'm searching here.
I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, great. I accidentally clicked on telephone. I didn't know what I was supposed to be on, but I'm on mic. Okay, yep. So I'm good.
So if you look at adrenal fatigue, you have medium competition, 90,500 searches. If you put, I doubt adrenal fatigue coach comes up, but you can search, see what the heck happens.
Michelle, just turn down your volume a little bit if you can. That'll cut back on that feedback.
Adrenal fatigue coach, yes, a little bit better for me. Nothing comes up, but let's see. You probably don't want to add the word coach. They're just searching. They don't. You want to be the solution, so when they look up the word exhaustion, you're there. So you can just keep playing around with it. Oh, look at this. Okay, so exhaustion is low competition, but it's 246,000 searches. So if we look at this, oh, look at this. Exhaustion symptoms. So you could be, one of your keywords could be exhaustion symptoms, and then you tell them, okay, here's CDs to listen to relax you or whatever, and here's my coaching program. So you could tell them what symptoms are exhaustion, low competition, right in the range, which is great, but then you're offering your services on the back end. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
You're not going out for that direct coaching word. Looking down here, adrenal exhaustion, medium competition, 74,000. But look at these, causes of fatigue, fatigue causes, what causes, here's all 33,000, so that's good, low competition. It's another great keyword for you, symptoms of fatigue.
So Gail, I have a question.
Yes.
Very basic question, and that is when you say these keywords, have high searches and low competition, do you mean that in my website somewhere I have those words?
That's exactly right. So I suggest that you have, and I'm glad you brought that up, 3 to 5 main keywords that you're almost using on a regular basis every time you blog, every time you title something, every time you post a video on YouTube, every time you post it on Tout. You want to be putting it in your descriptions, in your titles, and in your articles. There is also a way on your WordPress site that you can keyword your site. So ask your web person how to do that. But then I would have another 5 or so keywords that you use every once in a while, and you might write a blog post about it. So for example, here's signs of exhaustion. You might want to write about that. Or, you know, if we go down here, I'm scrolling down here, cure for exhaustion. You might want to write an article on that. Pick 5 or so other keywords that you will use in some blog posts every once in a while, but you have about 3 to 5 that you're using all the time. And guys, Google's picking up. If you're making no sense in your phrase, they're going to flag you. So it needs to make sense. Does that make sense, Michelle?
No, please say that again. You broke up for a second.
Oh, so you should have 3 to 5 keywords that you use all the time in your blog posts, your titles, your descriptions of your videos, and pick 1 or 2 of them to focus on for each thing. But you're going to have about 3 to 5 of those. And then have another 5 where you're using every once in a while. So you might even have more than like 10, but for example, you could write an article on adrenal exhaustion treatment. There's one for you actually, 4,400 searches. So you might have, what are adrenal exhaustion treatments? So that could be a title of a blog. And then it says adrenal exhaustion treatment is really tricky. So you're actually rephrasing it, you know, you're saying it again in that first paragraph. So, like I said, just focus on the 3 to 5 keywords that you'll be using a lot for your website, that you're going to show up in those Google searches.
I understand that, Gail, but you just said something right after that about Google might kick you out or something.
Oh, okay. I said if you're using Google, if you're using your keywords just randomly and the sentences do not make sense because you want to get in your keywords, they will flag you. So you can't say, you know, drink coffee and I'm trying to think of something that I'm not thinking clearly right now. Tracy, can you think of an example? But make sure your sentences make sense. Make sure your titles make sense and your subtitles and even your descriptions on your YouTube video.
Yeah, Michelle, I'm going to mute you just to cut back on some of the feedback, and then I'll help answer that too. What Gail's saying is what a lot of people were doing is they were just putting a bunch of keywords together and they weren't making a sentence. And so it was not making sense. It was just gobbledygook. And they were getting on the front pages by doing that, and they were teaching others to do it too. But Google is pretty smart about that, and so what will happen is if you do that, it's not like they're going to kick you off or anything, but you're not going to be on the front page. There's an algorithm that they use, and so it will affect where you get on Google. And what we want to teach you is how to get on that front page. So because when people are looking online for your keywords, they're probably not going to look past that first page. They may go to the second page, but they're certainly not going to go to the 50 or 60 pages that you may be on if you're not using your keywords properly. And we're going to teach you a lot about the marketing later, but we just wanted to show you how to do a little bit of keyword research in this. And Gail, I know that we're going to be moving on here, but before we do, can you just go in? We've had a lot of questions about how to do that keyword tool, and people are getting confused that they may have to buy AdWords. So can we? You don't have to go online about it unless you want. That's okay.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted you to describe how to do it.
You do not have to buy AdWords. Tracy, just stay on just to help me describe this. The AdWords basically are saying when it says low competition or high competition, what that's saying is if it is high competition, a lot of people are buying those AdWords for their site. So they're actually paying $2 a day, $2 every hit, or $5 every hit. I apologize for that. Tracy, answer the question. I'll put myself on mute.
Yeah, so they're actually paying for those keywords. So that's what that competition is about. But when you go to sign up for going to adwords.google.com, they want you to make sure that you have an account. They're automatically going to want to try to sell you AdWords. But what we're showing you is a free service that they have with their keyword tool. So you're going to see that. Just do the keyword tool and do the searches. You don't have to pay for anything. This is all free. You can do as many searches as you want. Gail and I have spent hours and hours for ourselves and for clients looking at things. So it does take a little bit of time to find the right ones, but it is so well worth it, because what you're doing is now you have just done a little bit of research and you have just saved yourself so much time marketing to an area that may not be the right market for you, or the money that you could spend. I mean, can you imagine if you had decided to buy some AdWords, Gail? I can't remember which keyword it was, but only like 100 people were searching for it, and it was high competition. People are probably paying $5 or $6 a click on it, and there's hardly anybody out there searching for it. So number one, frustrated because nobody's clicking, but they're also, paying a lot for something that they could have done a little bit better with a little bit of research. Now, we know that there's a lot of questions that we did not get to, but stay on just for the last few minutes. We're going to go over a few more things, and then we're going to give you the opportunity of how we can best help you get the answers for everybody who didn't get their questions out there or their niches. So we'll be able to help you in another way, okay?
And this week is really going in and looking at that adwords.google.com. Remember, you don't have to pay for AdWords. If you want to move up faster on those pages, yes, you can certainly do that, but many of us don't want to do that. So next week we're really going to be diving into, once you find and narrow those searches with the adwords.google.com, and you go under Tools and Analysis and Keywords, we're going to teach you how, now that you've refined that niche, how to really market to that niche. So that's why it's so important to start looking at the Google searches under the terms that sort of fit your market, because we're going to go into that next week and say, okay, are there blogs under those keywords that you can be commenting on? Are there support groups? Are there other websites that you could be a guest host on? So there's a bunch of ideas that we have for you once you narrow down those searches. The other thing is, I will say to you, is if
Sorry, I think somebody had just had a question on low-hanging fruit, so I just wanted to give that description again.
So the low-hanging fruit is actually your low competition. That's what that is. So you want to be looking for something that is low competition. Remember, if someone is paying for a Google AdWords, so say they're paying for the word personal training, or some of the other examples like metabolic syndrome, they're paying for that Google AdWord, they're going to be moving up. They're going to show higher in the rankings, and on the right-hand side and at the top of metabolic syndrome, if you just put that in Google, than you ever would. So that's why it's key to look at low competition, meaning not very many people are paying for that Google AdWord, for that Google word. Hopefully that's, or that Google keyword. I keep saying AdWords, and that's probably confusing people, but AdWords are really keywords. And the last thing I wanted to say is, if you were doing any local marketing, these keywords may or may not be key in your marketing campaigns. You're going to have to see if the local market knows what metabolic syndrome is. I know in my local community, the word metabolic syndrome, people would have no idea what that is. And one last thing is, if you were doing any kinds of sales pages, These are the kinds of words that you want to be using on the sales pages because if they're searching for them. So not that you want to overuse them again, but you do want to be able to use them on your website. Anything else, Tracy?
Nope, perfect. And just for clarification, too, if you're still having troubles out there, I'm going to send out step-by-step instructions, so like a 1, 2, 3 on how to get to the place where we were at today doing all this research. So if you are still confused, don't worry, don't get stressed. Just watch your email. I'll make sure you get it before I go to bed tonight.
Gosh, guys, that might be like tomorrow morning. No, I'm just joking. So I think we mentioned my story. I actually have 2 stories. One, the personal training business I had locally. I specialized with at-risk populations. And then I talked about my menopause website, 360menopause.com, last week. I did not go after those high competition words that millions of people were searching, like menopause. The 2 top keywords I went after are menopause support and menopause relief. They were 2 of my biggest keywords I used, and I haven't looked at it lately because that's not my main focus now, but I used to be on basically the first 3 pages of those keywords. So, and all I did is I never ever paid for an AdWord. Never ever paid for an AdWord, but I did put it in titles, I put it in subtitles, and I put it in my blog post, my descriptions of my videos, and like we said before, do not just randomly put them in there. Make sure it makes sense. So yes, you do have Home Fun, and Tracy, what is that?
So your home fun is going to be to do that keyword research and define your niche even more. And again, remember, I'm going to send you step-by-step instructions. So if you've registered for this webinar, you're going to be getting them. If you do not get them in the email, or if for some reason you listen to this recording down the road, email us at admin@holisticmarketingmentors.com. So that's admin at holistic with an H, marketing mentors with an S.com, and just put in the title that you want the step-by-step instructions for Google AdWords, and we'll go ahead and send them. So you're going to do your keyword research. You're going to come up with at least 5 keywords that fit your market, and you're going to determine that low-hanging fruit to use in your marketing efforts. So that's the keywords, like Gail was explaining, that are less than 50,000 and may have multiple words using them. So it may be that long tail, what they call a long tail keyword. You want what the rest of the market's not going for. So like she was telling you earlier, what the WebMD is not looking at. You want to use those keywords because it's going to be very effective for your marketing. And that is what we're going to go over next week. So, Gail, go ahead and forward the slide. And next week what we're going to be doing is we're going to show you how to market your niche effectively. However, as we said before, we're here to help support you in your wellness business. And we're offering an opportunity for you to apply for a complimentary 30-minute strategy session with us. Now, this is valued at $150, and we're offering it to you with no strings attached. So apply now. And this is for you. Even if we went over your niche today, you can still apply for it. But if you didn't get your question answered, remember I said that we'd have something for you that you could talk to us. Go ahead and apply for this strategy session, and we'll help you narrow that down a little bit more. You can also send us an email. Gail and I are very committed to you guys, and we're very excited to share next week. We've really enjoyed being here with you today and look forward to our final webinar on putting this all together and how you can market to your niche. Gail, do you have anything else to add?
Nope. That's it. We'll look forward to your emails, and hopefully we'll get that out, the step-by-step instructions for you, so you can begin working on this right away.
Wonderful. Then you guys have a great week, and to your success.